We're just live.
You said hit the countdown. You said hit the countdown. So I hit the countdown.
Damn, dude.
You said hit the countdown. I hit the countdown. I started the show. We're live.
No
And then you
shit.
said, oh, I think you said, while the countdown's playing, oh shit, we're live.
We weren't
We're
off
live.
the camera. It wasn't off camera. I'm telling you. Anyway, welcome to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. This is our After Hours edition, where we will be talking about the seamy and also pretty funny side of professional wrestling, and also some of the tragic instances of professional wrestling. The people who
Yeah,
have been hurt.
that sucks, dude, when you told me
The
this
people
earlier
who
this
have been
week.
hurt. Yeah, it's terrible.
Sad, man.
I mean, Don's hurt every day of the world of professional wrestling. His feelings get hurt from all the neckbeards jumping
They don't
all
hurt my
over him.
feelings. They don't hurt my feelings.
So, we
Hit
like
it,
to
baby.
thank. What do you got first, Big Don?
No, I was going to ask you what happened with NXT because I know that poor Shotzi got hurt this week, and it was legit for taping for next week's show, from what I read.
They were taping 2 episodes because I believe we said this on one of the shows this week. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, they were recording 2 NXT programs Tuesday night. One was live and one was Memorex, if you remember those TV commercials, the Memorex commercials. But anyway, that was a videotape, a recording tape. What's that say? Black Larry says they hurt us every week with these piss-ass programs. Actually, NXT isn't too bad, Larry. It's a nice, refreshing alternative to the wonderful world of AEW Rampage. But with NXT, the live edition, they recorded 2 shows. They broadcast one and recorded the second one because a lot of those people are going to be sent to the Elimination Chamber next week. And they want to get called up. It's a long trip down to Australia. A lot of those guys are going to get looks, wrestle some dark matches at the Elimination Chamber, and see how well they react to a huge crowd. Huge
I'm
crowd.
glad you said that.
So, with that being said, Shotzi Blackheart was brought in to challenge Lyra Valkyria, who is the NXT Women's Champion and a hell of a wrestler. She came from the NXT UK. And that's now defunct, but unfortunately, fortunately, she's with NXT US. And Shotzi wrestled her, and Lyra Valkyria was draped over this middle rope. And Shotzi was going to do a bit of business on the ring apron, and she came off and hit Lyra Valkyria and landed on her knee on the outside, right down on her knee, and pretty much. We haven't got any confirmation yet. But,
They still haven't said anything definitive yet.
Still
just that
haven't
she's
said
injured.
anything definitive about that, except for the fact that she is injured. It wasn't an angle, wasn't part of the show. The Rock's daughter, Ava Frankenstein, came out and made an announcement. She's the general manager of NXT. She made an announcement saying that Shotzi cannot perform. She can't go on. The match is being changed up to an open challenge. Who wants to answer the open challenge? And 6'1", former WNBA player Lash Legend strolled out, who actually has learned how to wrestle in her spare time. And she acquitted herself, I heard, admirably. I guess
Good for
Lyra
her.
Valkyria.
I just want to talk about the injury.
Although Lyra got the win. I'm just setting it all up, pal. You don't have to get all salty already.
do not
Jesus H.
care.
Christ. Speaking of
There's
knee injuries, speaking of
3 women I care.
Speaking of women, I can't wait to hear the women that you care about in professional wrestling. But let me
You
finish
know
this
the
one
big
story.
3 or 4. It's not hard.
Nikita Lyons returned to the ring after a knee injury, a debilitating knee injury.
Holy Jesus.
Back in December 2023, she came back. And she was out for a good 6-7 months. Fans were eager to see her back in action, and now she's been sidelined again due to another knee injury. The specifics of the injury have not been disclosed by renowned wrestling analyst Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter. However, fans were wondering about the severity of the setback.
All right, it's just me now, I guess. We're going to move on from women's wrestling. I'm going to talk about something else. You guys got me here? You guys see me? It looks like the women's wrestling has finally driven him away. No one wanted to hear it. He's back. We're moving on from that. We're going to talk about some...
Dave hit the button. Anyway, as I was saying...
Braun Breaker.
No one knows. No one knows what's wrong with her knee. She hasn't made public. So it's 2 knee injuries in NXT among the women that no one said anything about it. I accidentally hit the back button.
I can watch what just happened there because you're going to be like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm sure. I hit the back button on my browser by accident. And
my wife was laughing in the other room.
Dude, I teleported right back to Google homepage.
Thank God.
That's where I wound up. I'm glad you fuckers had all this fun at my expense. I'm just a senile old man down here in Florida. All I care about is what color loofah I got on the back of my car and how much medical marijuana I can get. That's all I care about.
I care about Braun Breaker. I care about Braun Breaker.
You care about Braun Breaker in a sports enthusiast way, or in a man caring about another man?
I'm happy to see this guy finally getting called up. We've been talking about this for months, and the rumors coming out, the reports are he is probably going to end up breaking through right after WrestleMania. It's too short a time, I think, to build him before then. They've got some
breaking through.
Yeah, they've got some storylines that they want to close out in NXT. So it looks like it is what they're saying. Fans are looking to move on him immediately after he gets done with it. They want him to be on the main roster following the appearance maybe this next weekend coming up. So it might be sooner than we thought. I'm pretty excited about that.
We'll find out tonight.
That's the one guy that I've kept my eyes on in the NXT rooms. I know he was as soon as he came in, everybody said he looked the part. He had to learn how to wrestle. They didn't rush him through, but I feel like now maybe Michaels has been a little bit too controlling of his career.
He doesn't want to give him up
because he knows he's a superstar ready to break loose. The guy's got the look. He looks like the next thing Paul Heyman's going to have manage. He looks like possibly the next U.S. title champion, if I had to guess.
Think he'll be a heel?
Shit, he's going to be a heel. He's a freaking Steiner brother. He's going to be a heel.
A Stein brother and a Steinbrenner.
Steinbrecher.
They should have called him Braun Steinbrenner. That's what they should have called him. Braun Steinbrenner. They ought to just change his name.
Well, they're not going to change his name. Thank God. No,
they should change his name to Bronson Steiner. Braun Steiner.
Well, they're not going to change his name, so that's good news. I'm glad to hear that. That's some pretty big news coming out. One of your favorites is going to be off AEW for a long time, it looks like.
Who's that?
Chris Jericho.
Why's that?
He has
sodomy charges?
Now, let's calm down. I don't want to catch a case here. He's going on tour with Fozzy from looks like the 16th through the 26th of February. He's going to be gone. He is going on a tour to dress and drag and put on a terrible concert.
They're in such big demand, of course. When I think about putting on a rock concert, I say, where's Fozzy? Bring me Fozzy. I need Fozzy. That's what I need. I need effing Fozzy.
Said no one ever. He wasn't a drag. He was a David Bowie, he says. It just looked like drag. I don't know what the hell that was he was in. If he's off my TV, I'm happy. Like, if he's off TV, that's happy for me. I don't have to deal with him. I don't want to see him again for a long time. It's sad.
It's a good thing they just take him off the air. They just take him off the air. That's a good thing.
They should have done it when all this shit came about. If they weren't going to come out and flat out deny the charges, take him off TV. Because he got booed out of the arena.
Because he's got Tony Khan's ear, and he probably said, don't be a coward, Tony. Let's not take the coward's way out. Let's just go forward. Let's go plow through. And they were supposed to get the tag team championships. Him and the crippler, Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that went sideways. Block Larry said he was not Ziggy Stardust. He was Fatty Arbuckle.
He was Fatty Stardust.
Anywho, there was some news yesterday. So there's a lot going on right now.
David Hasselhoff will be opening for Fozzy.
There's some big news going on right now in WWE. Did you read today that they're still trying to figure out what to do with The Rock at WrestleMania? And the latest rumor going around is that he's going to be in a tag team match in WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying they're going to do to try to protect him.
I told you, and you told me I was full of shit. I told you on night one of WrestleMania, it's going to be Seth Rollins, and Cody Rhodes.
I'm still calling
versus The Rock and Roman Reigns.
That's not what
and
they're
talking
about.
And then night two will be Reigns versus Cody, and the winner of the Elimination Chamber will take on Seth Rollins.
That's not what they're saying.
What have you heard? What have you heard from
LA Knight's going to be in a tag team match. LA Knight's going to be in a tag team match against The Rock. That's what they're saying. It's going to be LA Knight and someone else, and The Rock and another Bloodline member. That's what they're saying.
LA Knight and The Rock
against The Rock.
Who's LA Knight's tag team partner?
That's what I'm saying. They haven't named that yet, but that's the rumor that I read today, is that it's going to be LA Knight. That'd be great, but he ain't going to be him. It ain't going to be him. If I had to guess, it's going to be AJ Styles, and it's going to be one of those we got to work together even though we hate each other type angles.
That's a Vince McMahon deal right there. That sucks ass.
I'm just telling you what I read, Johnny. I know you got your twat out on a cleaner right now. Let's calm down, pal.
I got my twat all in a cleaner. Got my twat. Ladies, any ladies out there watching this show, what does it mean when you have your twat in a cleaner?
In 2 night shows. It's too much of a risk of injury right now. It's just not going to happen.
Twat in a cleaner.
You're not going to risk getting
is that Pig Latin?
It's not going to get the guy hurt, Johnny. It's not going to get the guy hurt. See? Can they coexist? I get it.
Get who
That's
hurt?
What they're looking at. Anybody, Johnny. Cody Rhodes, The Rock, any of them. You already got Seth Rollins who's beat the shit. They're not going to risk this. They're trying to just coast him along to WrestleMania. I mean, they're going to be on TV tonight announcing God knows what.
LA Knight. Maybe LA Knight and Randy Orton.
Might be. It might be against the Bloodline because he's got, it's going to be probably the cousin, right?
But that's not The Rock. Would you consider that a big money match?
I would consider I'd watch it. I'd watch that.
LA Knight versus The Rock.
I'd watch that shit. Hell yes. And a tag team match. Yes, I would watch that. I would have interest in that. That's what I would watch. Sokoa and The Rock versus LA Knight and
Braun Breaker.
Not Braun Breaker.
Why not?
And Randy Orton. That's who I'd want to see.
He's getting called up. He's getting called up. Why not?
Randy Orton and Sokoa are going to get into it somehow, some way. And you can't have Sokoa lose all the heat that he's going to have coming into this thing. Like Ron said, they're supposed to have Braun and Sokoa going at it when he gets called up. And it might be because Paul Heyman turns on the Bloodline when they lose the title.
He's not turning on the Bloodline.
Okay, pal.
He's not turning on the Bloodline, pal.
Okay. I think this is about to go sideways. The whole thing, I think, is coming to a crash again. It's had a nice 3-year run. Everything can't run forever. They've either got to re-inflect it or re-energize it with some new blood or end it. Because right now it's stale.
What about Jacob Fatu?
That's the interesting part.
That's a wild card. He could be coming into the Elimination Chamber. They could have his wild ass come into the Elimination Chamber and put your twat in a cleaner. That's what they could do.
They can do that if you want. But I'm telling you, that's what I read today. That's what they're talking about because they, like we talked about last week, they backtracked on the whole Rock thing because the backlash was so big. They had to say, okay, this isn't it. We got to back out of this. We thought it was going to work. We're TKO Sports. We're used to big name fights. We have The Rock. He's a megastar. This isn't going to work. We need to move on from this. So speaking of The Rock, Dave Meltzer opened his pie hole yesterday and said some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Or maybe it was
what did he say? What did he say?
Dave Meltzer came out and said they're going to have a Rock. Now, he's a big star, but it's not like he's Taylor Swift. He doesn't mean that much to him. Bro, the level of idiocy this man has coming out of his trap sometimes is beyond embarrassing. The Rock is literally the biggest star they could get in wrestling, and he's trying to shit on it because AEW is dying on the vine. He has to protect anything positive the WWE gets. He immediately shits all over it.
So he mentions Taylor Swift because she's appearing the next day at Wembley after AEW is going to be there. And that's why they can't open up the whole show, the whole arena for AEW. They can only accommodate 47,000 people because of her stage set. What the hell?
You tell me how
Taylor Swift got to do
with a big star.
He's the most recognizable professional wrestler / actor out there.
Ever.
And you showed somebody in Great Britain a picture of The Rock. Oh, that's The Rock. You showed somebody down in Mexico. You says that's Dwayne. You show a picture of someone in Mexico, a picture of The Rock. Oh, yes, Senor Rock. Yes.
Everyone knows the guy. The fact that he came out and said this was preposterous to me. It just shows me the level of vitriol this guy has for anything WWE related. He cannot stand to watch his precious ratings get shit on these days. People calling him out for his nonsense. It's insane. It's just insane what he says.
He's a 65, 70-year-old man who's got something mentally wrong with him besides Asperger's syndrome. He needs to have his twat cleaned. He needs to take his twat to the cleaner.
Is this your new, you love this expression?
Hey, you came up with this nonsense saying, pal. And I love it. I'm just going to roll with it. I'm rolling with it the whole show, pal. This is SCM After Hours. We'll say whatever the fuck we want to. What's that say? Dave backed the wrong horse and he can't take the L. He did. Well, he's getting a check. They're all getting checks and for good press from Tony Khan. They get paid. They also get paid for scoops. He feeds them the scoops and says, put this out there. And here's $1,000. He wipes his ass on $1,000. That's nothing to him. Tony Khan, that is.
It's sad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Tony Khan takes $1,000 and pays to have his twat cleaned with that $1,000.
All right. You're over the top now. You're over the top. It's one of those stories that just, the fact that this came out of his mouth, I couldn't even believe he said it. To call out The Rock and say he's not a big enough star, he's, quote, no Taylor Swift. Bro, what the fuck does that even mean? What does that even mean? Taylor Swift's not coming off the turnbuckle, jackass. What are you talking about? Why is there a bubble next to my head? What are you doing?
I didn't do anything. Someone just liked our show while it's on the air.
Bubble on my head, man. Like and subscribe. We appreciate it.
That bubble came out of your twat while it's being cleaned.
What is wrong with you, man?
What? Hey. You said it. I didn't.
You did it. I didn't. That's the
difference. He told me I got my twat in a cleaner. I don't have a twat, and there's no cleaner here. There's no twat cleaner here.
There's other stuff going on in AEW as well.
I got a rag on a stick, pal. That's all I got here.
Did you read the rest of what happened today on AEW? The backstage news going on? And the
locker room is in disarray. It's filled with malcontention because Tony Khan keeps telling everybody in all these media appearances, everything's fine, everything's great. We had the best run, the best ratings in the last 4 months that we've ever had in the last 4 years. It's fantastic. Things are great. Things are looking up. We are on an upswing. We are just doing fantastic here where we are in front of 1,500 people a show. And the locker room's saying, the ratings are sinking. The live events, which is what they really care about because they feed off the fans. They don't like performing in front of an empty hall with nobody there but with the tech crew. They need the feedback from the fans so they can judge how well they're doing. Yes, Rampage is on now. Special time, 7 o'clock. You're not really missing it. You're missing the Bang Bang Gang, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, and a Circle Jerk with a bunch of guys at
months.
Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, who they're wasting away, and other crew. But you're also missing the big Jeff Hardy Sammy Guevara match where he got his clock cleaned.
Well, you know that's going to get heavily edited. They're not going to show that shit how it happened. That's all over. I wouldn't be surprised if they scratched that from the show. It was so bad.
It's on the show. It's on the show.
Okay.
The ad on Twitter says
you know it's going to be heavily edited. I'm sure of that. It's going to be heavily edited. They're going to take every angle they can to not show that shit. But the whole thing with the backstage news and the locker room not being happy and being upset, this is what we've been saying now for the last 6 months, is that it's getting worse. The show's almost unwatchable. It's unwatchable for me now. I can't watch anymore. I can't do it.
It's akin to a Broadway show where you go out to act at a Broadway show and there's no one in the audience or maybe 20 people there. And you're thinking, what the hell's going on? Okay, we'll just play to these people. But, I mean, they're all being paid well. All these indie guys who weigh 150 pounds are making the best money they've ever made in their entire lives. They are.
But this comes back to my point. I want to make a point here. We've been saying it for a while. The AEW neckbeards, the homers, the guys that will not admit that it's not a good product have been supporting this the whole way. You're just saying it because it's not WWE. You're just saying this because it's not what you like, and this is the way wrestling is going now. Guys, now the wrestlers are saying, okay, shit's really bad right now. It's as bad as it's been since we've been here. We've got Cody Rhodes chants going on our show, and you guys ran them off. This isn't going well. Why in the hell are we doing this right now? And the fans, the neckbeards, the hardcores, the diehards are like, you guys don't know shit. It's doing just fine. Some jackass today tried to tell me on Twitter they had 4 million views on their product this week. I said, they got what now? He said 4 million people watch their show across all these other platforms. I said, buddy.
He's counting Instagram, YouTube. They're calculating all the different little video clips.
They're guesstimating.
Well, he's guesstimating, yeah. I mean, you'd have to talk to whoever is in charge of their media for AEW, which, according to our sources, it's Warner Brothers Discovery, but I don't buy that. I think that somebody at AEW is posting clips to YouTube, posting clips to Instagram, Facebook, all that crap. But it's all bad. It's all horrible. It's horrible.
4 million people are watching AEW. No, they're not. The clips I watched last night for last night's show or yesterday had like 5,000 views. And that was the highlight packages.
And what do they do when in WWE when The Rock is at that news conference and he slaps Cody Rhodes and that gets 30 million views across all social media platforms. 30 million views for a 3-minute clip. What about all their matches they put out on YouTube and Instagram? Now they're going to have on Twitter. They're going to have, what is it? What's it called? The 5-minute challenge on Twitter. They signed a deal with Elon Musk.
Yeah. The new Twitter it's going to be like 5-minute matches across this thing. This is where it gets even better. You just brought this up. There's the little clip they had in the little WrestleMania scrub thing that they had, right? Dave Meltzer came out and said they only sold 3,000 or 4,000 tickets to that. Like, The Rock's just not a draw. They sold 3,000 to 4,000 tickets at a show that had no wrestling matches. Dude, shut the hell up. This guy's ego is so out of control, man. He just cannot own the fucking L. He can't own it.
They had 11,000 people there. The tickets were free unless you paid the money. The 2,000 to 3,000 tickets, which had backstage passes, media packages, where you could go get your picture taken with Asuka, Shotzi Blackheart, Paul Heyman. Well, not Paul Heyman. Otis, Chad Gable. You have your pictures taken with that mid-card people right there. That I hate to say that, but yeah, you would be picture with them, get an autograph, get take the chair home with you, that kind of bullshit. It was, you paid $500 or $250 for that. So the rest, everybody on the cheap seats and all that, they were all free tickets. They wanted to fill the place up, and they did. They turned people away from that place.
The fact that he said they only had 3,000 or 4,000 people, I'm like, AEW would die for that on a regular basis. They would die for that. They can't get 1,500 now. I can't even imagine what Saturday show's going to look like. I'm not watching, of course. I'll do something else. I'll play Uno first before I'll watch that shit.
And Dave, actually, for all his everything he's doing for Tony Khan and AEW, he's actually lactose intolerant. So I don't know how he's handling suckling from that teat of Tony Khan, the hind teat.
I see what you did there.
Yes. I don't know how he can stand it. Drawing all that milk from Tony Khan. Go ahead, Don.
There's more on the Hardy noise. There was some post-traumatic stuff.
They are the gift. That family's the gift that keeps on giving. I want to see his father-in-law, the older Hispanic gardener. Senor, I forgot what they called him in those skits he did at TNA when he was delete, whatever the guy's name was. No goddamn Uno slander unless it's evil Uno. That's right. Uno is fun as hell. It's a great game, especially when you wear the mask. Powdered milk. He's suckling the powdered milk. Anyway, I like to see Matt Hardy's father-in-law rush to the ring with a rake and just start swinging.
After the match, if you guys didn't see, Matt Hardy came to the ring. Apparently, you can't see it
clearly.
His
shirt off for a fight.
Took his shirt off, reportedly spit on him being Sammy Guevara, And then
Him?
both of them just flipped him off. And then Jeff almost collapsed in a heap, just almost fell completely out. It was sad to see. He was completely jacked up, man. If you guys haven't seen, I think Johnny's going to show it here in a minute, but it was, I mean, he was hot.
Keep talking.
The fact that they let this match, and the thing is, everybody says, well, they went home after that. It was okay. Dude, the fact that they kept having the match is absurd. He was clearly out of his mind. They should have stopped this immediately when it happened.
This was right after they got him up. The medics got him up off the ground. And you can see there's a guy there and a guy there. They're part of the medical team. They got him up off the mat. And Sammy's like, hey, I didn't know. Let's shake hands. I'm sorry about this. He just gave him the, this is the 1960s, 1970s FU, the old hand in the crook of your arm. Yes, we all know what that is. Let's play it.
Oh, there it is. Spit on him there. There it was. You can see it there. I mean, look at Jeff, dude. He's just out of it, man. Watch Jeff fall back. Look at Jeff. He's out of it, dude. He is out of it. Jeez, man.
What do you think of that?
I think you got to get Sammy Guevara time away from the ring and get him to work a little bit more on his fundamentals, or tell him to stop doing stupid shit, because this just keeps happening. It just keeps happening over and over again. And by the way, quote unquote, Jeff Hardy is in a supposed concussion protocol. He may have a concussion. They're not sure. You can.
They're not going to mention.
They're not.
Dude, he's probably got a concussion. They're not going to mention it because the little snowman went at their last media scrum at the end of the year, where he's wearing the wool hat and Tony Storm's Jackie Onassis sunglasses, and said, "This is the safest company of professional wrestling. We have protocols. We have this. We have that. It's safe, safe, safe. It's great, great, great. It's so great. It's safe. The safeness is so greatness." Or something of that effect.
Yeah, this was on the other day. This was on the other day. Somebody shared. Yeah.
What was it, Chavo's face or was it Kiwi's face?
I can't remember. But it was like a decade, or it was over a decade ago, wasn't it?
Longer than that, buddy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this came out, right? The reason I bring this up, this came out, and this guy immediately went to this clip and said, "Oh yeah, well, what about when this happened?" I'm like, bro, that was well over a decade ago, and that guy's out of the business because of shit like this. You guys keep cheering this guy on.
Chris Stikelether, I know you know who this guy Kiwi was. It was Alan somebody. He was a great wrestler.
I don't know. I'm not even getting.
Well, look, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but this guy actually, this injury put him out of professional wrestling. Remember Saturday Night Live when Chris Kattan did a character named Mango? He was wore little sparkly shorts and little boots, and he was like a prima donna musical theater of questionable actor of questionable sexuality, and that was a running joke. You don't remember that back in the 90s?
I remember it's Pat. I remember it's Pat.
This is the late 90s. Chris Kattan was on the show. And he was one of those guys who wore the, him and Norm, not Norm, what the hell's his name? Old School. What's his name? The guy from Old School.
Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan used to be the guys who wore the blue suits and went like this.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I remember
the little guy who was with Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
I got
a character
named Mango.
All right.
And
not Pat,
Mango.
They did a movie called Night at the Roxbury.
Night at the Roxbury. Exactly.
Gotcha.
And Kiwi was modeled after that character, Chris Kattan's character, but he could wrestle. And Alan Funk was his name. And Alan Funk was the guy who got his face crushed by Billy Kidman's knees. And he was out of the wrestling business after that. Done. Screws, plates, all kinds of shit they put in his face.
And then he's out. And now he's going.
And then he's out. Done. He was a great wrestler. Bad gimmick, great wrestler.
Well, I mean, something's got to be done about this guy. He keeps whacking people in the face. He keeps hurting people, throwing them off of shit. I'm done with this guy. If Sammy Guevara goes away and never wrestles again, it wouldn't hurt me one damn bit. There is some more news on Tony Khan's front, actually. He addressed the MJF story.
Come on now. I want to hear this.
They asked him on MJF and if we'll see him back. he said it's something to keep an eye on with MJF. He's a great wrestler for AEW and has been a great world champion. He was very injured, and I would love to have MJF back anytime, and we'll see what happens here. I'm telling you, that guy's not coming back for a long time. That injury is serious. He's got to get that shoulder either operated on or go through some serious rehab. If I was him, I'd have taken the surgery and taken a year off. To hell with it. Take this guy for all of his money.
Because he did an elbow drop off the ring apron.
Yep.
Onto a guy laying across a broken wooden table on the floor, which was Switchblade Jay White. He dislocated his hip and separated his shoulder.
It's sad that he's hurt because he's the best thing I like watching on this show. He and Samoa Joe were great together. They were awesome. But I wouldn't bring him back until he's ready. It's only been a month since he's been gone. Do you realize that? A month and a half. It hasn't even been 2 months. And this injury they were talking about, they're talking about June, July as his time frame to return. Either way, with rehab or surgery. So I'm hoping that he takes his time coming back. It also tells me that he's going to be back in AEW. I'm confident in that more than ever. Otherwise,
so.
he just said something like he's not under contract. I can't discuss it. Honestly, that's how I feel about it. They also say
I pulled up right here because the talent in AEW is notorious for not listening to the agents. You do understand that, right?
Oh,
the
I know.
Backstage
Hangman Adam Page said, and I quote, "I don't think I can learn anything from those guys."
Yes. Now I'm going to go down a list of the agents that they have currently. This is from Wikipedia. This is from Wikipedia.
Well, that could be anybody. That could be so far off, Johnny. I wouldn't even trust that thing.
It's pretty current from what I see. From what I've heard through the dirt sheets, it's pretty current from the names that I see here. Okay, starting off, Arn Anderson.
Just give me. Okay, Arn's gone. I know that.
He's not gone. He's not gone.
When did they hire him back? When did they hire him back?
He never left. He left because his son died. He left because his oldest son died, but he came back. He's not an on-air talent anymore. He's strictly a backstage producer. I told you this. You didn't believe me.
All right, I still think he's gone, but whatever. Keep going.
Arn Anderson, Chris Hero, Dean Malenko. And Dean Malenko's in bad shape, by the way. He's got Parkinson's disease, and they had a brain operation just about a month ago. And he's not looking too good. Jerry Lynn from ECW. Jerry Lynn is a backstage producer. He's a member of the ROH board of directors, whatever that means. Jimmy Jacobs, who used to be with TNA, and he was a on-screen talent in Ring of Honor for 12 years. He's a producer. Kevin Matthews. He was in Impact Wrestling under the ring name KM.
I don't know who these people are, buddy.
I have no idea who that is. Michael Nakazawa, the guy who used to follow the Young Bucks around with a camera. That guy, Kenny Omega, giving them water. Michael Nakazawa. Sarah Stock. Scotty 2 Hotty.
I'm reading something from November, just so you know about Arn Anderson. Just so you know.
Okay. Scotty 2 Hotty and Tony
It says
Chimel.
he left in August on his own record because he didn't want to work with Ric Flair because he knew Ric Flair was coming in. That's what the report is. He left in August.
Okay. All right. They've got him listed as a producer. So
that's what I'm saying. That thing's about as accurate as birdshot. I mean, he left. I knew he had left. I didn't know why, but that's the report. I know he and Ric Flair have had some serious issues for a long time. Like, that's what it is. He left in August. He's not with the company anymore. But we can go on from there. They're talking about Britt Baker's coming back now, Johnny. And I know she's got a fan base. She's got a following. Britt Baker's been out. She was injured. There's a lot of times we have a lot of great wrestlers out injured. So I think this will be a great, not only for the great agents, but also for some of the stars that have been sidelined coming back. Here's my issue with Britt Baker. A lot of the girls backstage, from what I've read, she's got heat with them. And some of the shit she was popping off on social media with her interviews, they weren't real happy with what she was saying. And I don't know if you remember that or not, but they were not happy with the woman. And some of the things she said was like, I'm not getting enough one-on-one camera time. just sort of came off as petty to me. I don't know where it's going to go. I'm not sure what they'll use it, but they need somebody on that roster that can talk on the microphone that's a woman, and she's one of the few that can do it, right? I mean, I think we can both agree there. Yes?
Sure.
Okay. So where do you put her with when she comes back?
I don't know.
Do you put her right in the title feud right away?
Why not?
I would. They got nothing else. What are you looking up now, Johnny? You're moving on to something
I'm looking
else.
up whether Arn Anderson is still working for AEW.
He's not there, Johnny. I told you.
I believe he is. I believe he is.
He's not, and you're wrong. So I'm moving on. I'm moving on. You can keep dragging it out, but he's gone. He's been gone. I told you last time he's been gone. He's talked about it on his podcast, for God's sakes. Anyway, there's heat with Julia Hart and Wheeler Yuta's AEW status. Did you see this?
No.
And I can do the show by myself, or you could join me. It's up
Go
to
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
She's been absent for a month following her match with Anna Jay, and her injury is unknown, but they're not sure that that's why she's gone right now. Like, they think she's leaving is what it's reading like right now. It's like he's gone. Like, she's gone.
Maybe
like, quietly, she wants her contract to expire, and she wants to leave on her own accord.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, like, that's what they're saying. And I know she's got a big following as well in that fan base. I'm not one of them, but that's what they're saying, is that she's out the door. So that was kind of shocking to me, because that's like she was getting over big time, right? Like, I'm not alone there. She was getting big with that audience.
I would, with the incel neckbeards, yes. With people who the last time they touched a woman was when they slid out of their mom. So that's the last time they touched a woman. Very big with them, of course. Her husband still works for AEW. He can't get a push. He's a jobber. His name is Lee Jackson. Sometimes he's known as Shoddy, SHODDY, Lee Jackson. Whatever that means, I have no idea. Of course, he might not be working there anymore either. Who knows? Who really knows? Who really knows who's working for AEW?
No one does. That's the issue. I mean, that's honestly the issue. Is that
QT Marshall? QT Marshall.
He's coming back, apparently.
He's back. He's in. He's out. Pat Buck. He's there. Yeah, they're all there. Who knows?
I guess my next question is, you had something on TNA that's going on backstage. And I haven't kept up with that. I know a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that are like diehard wrestling fans that love that shit. I'm not one of them. I don't watch the product. But what did you hear about the backstage insanity that's going on right now? Like, apparently the roster was ready to revolt against management. They were all pissed off.
The roster crafted a letter and signed it and sent it over to Anthem, the company that owns TNA, saying they want Scott D'Amore back. He's the guy who is championing their causes, champion TNA, Imp/Impact, brought it to the heights that it's at right now. If they brought it to heights, who the hell knows? So I have no idea. They're not splitting the atom over there at Impact. You know what I mean?
Well,
they haven't discovered the cure for cancer. They suck. It's a terrible company. They can't get any traction. They're owned by a terrible company, Anthem, which is just horrible. They 114,000 is a top rating for them. 114,000 people is a top rating. And don't say it's because it's on Access TV. Nobody wants to watch it. Nobody wants to watch it. Nobody wants to watch it.
They have some diehard fans, man. They really do.
They've got a few diehard fans. And they got diehard fans in their roster of Scott D'Amore. And they still can't understand why Scott got released. They can't wrap their minds around it. Wrestling pundits out there can't wrap their minds around why Scott D'Amore got released. And they all say, there's got to be something more to this. There's got to be something more to it. I have a theory. You have a theory. This is SCM After Hours.
I don't care what. Look, I have heard that there might have been some backstage grab ass going on, but I can't confirm that. That's just rumored innuendo. That's just what I heard. That's what I read. What I heard was that possibly they were trying to avoid not quite a Vince situation, but something along those lines. Like maybe he was making some wrestlers feel very uncomfortable with his unwanted attempts. That's just what I read and what I heard. I can't confirm it.
Yes.
It's rumored innuendo.
Yes. I could tell the story of my friend who worked for Maryland Championship Wrestling.
You do that. Don't do that, because that will absolutely get our ass in hot water. I'm not doing it. I'll walk off. You do that shit. I am not doing that.
There was a WWE or WWF superstar from the past who, with these indie promotions, they bring these guys in, big names from the past, Jimmy Snuka, Iron Sheik, Sergeant Slaughter, Greg Valentine, people like that. They bring him in to be in the main event and wrestle in a tag match with 3 other guys. And, of course, the superstar is going to be on the team that wins, that sort of thing. Well, this particular superstar was late. He was supposed to meet them outside of the hotel, outside the Holiday Inn, to be picked up and taken to the arena. He was late. So they had to go up to his room. And they knocked on the door, and this particular superstar answered the door in his tighty whities and had the door wide open. And he said, "Yeah, sorry, we overslept. We'll be down in a minute." And spread eagle, nude, on the bed behind the superstar. Allegedly was someone that was mentioned previously in the beginning of this show. From now until the beginning, this guy was mentioned.
So yeah,
and a little man-on-man love. Not that there's anything wrong with that. God bless him. Everybody wants to be loved.
I mean, it's just that's what you were told.
Sometimes you need, right. That's what I was told by my friend who was there to pick him up with another guy. They had a van outside waiting to pick him up. So they said, "Okay, we'll go down and we'll wait for you outside. We're parked right there in the circle." And about a half hour later, both of those individuals came downstairs and got in the van, and they went to the arena.
Allegedly.
I'll put it to you this way, and this is a matter of record. Rowdy Roddy Piper, when he was on the indie scene, had 2, as they call them, young boys following him around.
I'm not doing this.
Attending to all his needs. And he referred to them as the... I'm just telling you, it's a matter of record. He referred to them
not. It's conjecture and rumor. It's not. You are the only person that I've ever heard say this story. Ever.
Because
in the history of ever.
Pal, I'm a little bit older than you, and
I've
read a lot about professional wrestling. I've read a lot about professional wrestling, and
a lot of it's
people
been
who
junk.
a lot of people who have been in the business of professional wrestling,
and a lot of it's junk.
You're telling me my knowledge of professional wrestling is junk.
I'm saying rumor and innuendo is just that. I'm not going to question you about a match or who did what, but the rumor and innuendo, yeah, I've heard enough of these shows and enough of the horse shit to know when it's fucking horse shit, and that's horse shit. Horse shit.
Pal, I saw an interview with it was what was the name of that dirt sheet show? It's
here we go.
The guy who hosts the podcast with Kevin Nash. His first name's Sean.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, he used to have Sean Ross. Yeah, Sean. He used to have I used to watch some of the shit he did. Yeah.
Yes.
But he had kayfabe commentaries. But he had some
commentaries. He interviewed Roddy Piper, and he asked him about Pat Patterson, whether he had to do things with Pat Patterson to get a push. Piper was almost in tears. Sean Oliver, thank you, Colin. Piper was almost in tears. It's on fucking YouTube, pal.
I'm going to look it last week. Pal, and I don't believe it.
Yes.
You don't think he's working? You don't think he's working? Piper was the ultimate show, but he was always working. He was always on.
I wouldn't work an angle on a kayfabe commentaries clip with Sean Oliver.
Bro, that's what they did.
I
watched a million of them work it. I watched Scott Hall work that show.
Can I finish saying what I'm saying? Can I finish what I'm saying? Why would you go and imply that you had to let Pat Patterson blow you for a push in the WWF and have tears in your eyes and look like this and have Sean Oliver back off from the conversation? Why would you do that? Why?
Can I answer? Are you going to be answered now? Are you going to keep asking why? because he wasn't getting a push. He wasn't being known. He wasn't being used. This was a way to get his name back on the highlight. I saw King Kong Bundy say some outlandish shit. I've heard Hogan say he ripped his goddamn entire back half on the same interview shows. They say some outlandish shit to get notoriety, to get noticed again, to get another payday. Ric Flair bitched a fit about not being called the man because a woman was using it, trying to get another payday. They do this shit all the time. They do it all the time.
So you would sit there in one of these dirt sheet interviews and just imply that you let another man below you.
How's that? A professional wrestler, pal.
In your 50s, how would that advance your career? How would that advance your career?
He was almost 60, wasn't he? I'm not saying it's going to advance his career. I'm saying it's going to get him noticed. You're getting the two conflated.
63.
You're getting the two conflated. Get noticed.
How am I getting the two conflated? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? You're telling me everything he said was a fact. You're going to take everything he said as a fact because this is the only time I've ever heard it. Okay.
He implied it. He implied it in the conversation.
Hulk Hogan said he ripped his entire back picking up Andre the Giant. I believe him about as far as I can throw. That's the truth. I believe.
So I'm sure there are guys that are going to come out of the woodwork and say, "Yeah, I let Pat Patterson blow me because I wanted a push." Am I going to get a push from this? Am I going to get a push from this interview?
Here we go.
No, he's not getting a push from the interview.
I'm not talking about a push. I'm talking about getting noticed. Get noticed. Get notoriety. Anyway,
he's Roddy Piper. Why would he want to get noticed?
Because he wasn't getting known back then. He was gone from wrestling for a decade. No one was using him. No one. Roddy Piper was bitching about.
He was on the indie scene left and right.
About Vince McMahon from the time he left, dude, about his paydays, about how they don't take care of him. Because he was in
WCW. He was in WCW.
I know, and he was bitching about Vince McMahon in the 2000s, going crazy, bitching left and right every day about how my medical issues and this and that because he didn't save his money. You know who you never hear about bitching about saving their money? Guys like Arn Anderson, who has legit serious medical concerns because they saved their money. He pissed it away. Here you go, Colin. He was doing stand-up at the time. It might have been stage material. Working on his act, man.
So it was funny, haha. It was funny, haha stuff. Yeah,
maybe
go look up the clip. Go look up the clip.
Okay. I think you put a lot more credence in what these guys say than I ever will.
Why would someone come out and admit that they let another man blow them? Who would admit that? Who would admit that?
Why would someone stage a racial beating? It happens.
Stage a racial beating? What are you talking about?
Juicy Smoulier, who staged a racial beating that never happened. Shit like this happens is my point. People fucking lie. They lie. Just
so Roddy Piper's a lie. Why would you lie about a homosexual? Why would you lie about a homosexual encounter? Why would you lie about a homosexual encounter? Which makes you look bad too.
Maybe he took one too many chair shots, Johnny, and he thought this would get him some notoriety or put him back on the map. If you tell me everything that was said on that Sean Oliver show, they were being truthful, I'll go back and show you some crazy shit that came out of that because I got them all on box set somewhere in this house. They said some crazy shit.
If you're talking about Hulk Hogan, you're talking about the Iron Sheik.
It's not Hulk Hogan.
Iron Sheik was a drug-addled, crazy man.
It wasn't him.
Of course, they're all going to try and work Sean Oliver. But why would you work Sean Oliver and make yourself look bad? Make yourself look bad. You make the other person look bad. You don't make yourself look bad.
You think that if he said that this guy made me give him a blowjob, it made him look bad?
I let this guy suck my dick so I could get a push. It was Pat Patterson. He did it several times because I wanted to get a push. That's essentially what he was implying.
If you believe everybody, Johnny, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona. Roddy Piper sold it to me. I've got a certificate.
Then how can you believe anything in wrestling news? How can you believe anything you see on YouTube? Anything in wrestling news?
I don't.
Then
I don't believe 50% of it. I don't believe 50% of it.
How can you say Arn Anderson's gone from AEW when you really don't know? You don't know. How can you believe it? How can you say that Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy?
Do you listen to his podcast?
I don't listen to that shit.
That's what I thought. I do.
How can you go ahead and say Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy aren't working an angle with Sammy Guevara? How do you know?
Well, man,
you got to take things at face value.
Face.
You got to take things at face value.
I do. And I take half of it at half face value when I know that could be a work. And wrestlers are the ultimate carnies. They are the carnies of carnies. They are always looking to get a dollar out of your hand. And Dave Meltzer is the bottom of the barrel because he's trying to work the carnies, the fans of the carnies. He's the worst. Anything else you want to go over?
No.
Seth's evolution is underrated according to Bleacher. This is another sheet I barely listen to anymore because they're so full of shit. They're in AEW's pocket half the time now. They've pissed me off.
Bleacher Report.
I used to love their content. But every time I go to watch them review an AEW show, I've yet to see them give anything less than a C+, ever. They cannot do it. They will not do it. And that's my stance for tonight.
That's good.
I'm going to watch SmackDown and enjoy myself.
That's good.
I'm going to watch this Sean Oliver clip again.
Go ahead.
I'll send you the one from Perry Saturn where he went out of his goddamn mind.
Perry Saturn is out of his goddamn mind. Perry Saturn was smoking meth for the last 10 years. He's out of his
I thought he was smoking toilet cleaner.
That too.
Cheer up, Bottles. It's the weekend.
I'm happy, pal. I'm smiling on the inside.
You're crying on the out.
I'm not crying at all.
Oh, cheer up, pal. All right, I got no more news for tonight. I got no more news. I'm going to watch the SmackDown. I'm going to be excited to watch it. I can't wait. I'm also excited to see where this AEW news goes with their new TV contract because I've been trying to get some information on that. Where I can, if you will. If you will, baby.
The new TV contract.
That's what I'm trying to find out, man. Well,
if they've got one. We'll find out when the upfronts were made.
That's what they're saying is that if it hasn't been paid in April, that they're gone. That's what I keep hearing.
That's right. It's over.
If it will be, I mean, where do you go from here if you're them? You got to go to like FX or something, right? What are the fallbacks for WWE had?
If they'll have you, and it'll be less money.
They'll have them. Well, they'll probably pay them the same amount, I'd imagine. Get another $400 million deal.
Why? They know they're desperate now. They know they're desperate now. You got shit can from Turner? You got shit can from Warner Brothers Discovery? What were they paying you? $1.5 million? I'll give you $1 million.
They were paying them like $500.
I'm talking about a year. $500 a year?
I think they got $400 a year, I think.
I don't know. It's got to be less than that. Can't be. It's got to be less than that.
I swear I think it was $400. I swear I think
their operating expenses are 1.7.
Well, that's the thing. They don't give a shit because they're losing their ass as far as the TV network. They're like, hey, if you're going to lose your ass, go ahead. Go right ahead. Lose your ass. I don't care. I don't care. Right. Go lose your ass. Don't care. Would you care? I mean, if you were running a business and they're going to give you some content to put on, that's going to get on average 800,000, 700,000 people. Let's be honest. That's what it's going to be here in a year, right?
I would lose a business. I wouldn't run a business if I had a finite amount of money and I kept losing money every month running this business. I would try to sell this business. I wouldn't be running this business. I'd try to get out of this shit is what I would do. Now, he's got billions and billions of dollars, but eventually his father's going to say, it's time to come home. It's time to come home. You need to pull the plug. Dixie Carter's father said, it's time to come home. It's time to come home.
And then they declared bankruptcy.
And that's what happened. Yes, they did. She shut that whole electrical company down.
I mean, that's insane that you run a business like that into the ground. That's crazy. Please like and subscribe. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Panda Energy.
That was it.
Panda Energy.
Like and subscribe. Take us home, Johnny. I'm going to watch me some SmackDown. I can't wait.
Until next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.